Hello everyone, and if you're here, I'm going to assume you've watched the other interview, but if you haven't, Donpo Studios, the original rubber mask making company, made high-quality rubber masks for Halloween and movie replicas for E.T., Star Trek, the Universal Monsters, and a very large etc. And Don Post Jr., my grandpa, you get to see now. What was your experience with the third Halloween movie?
Oh, well, I got a call from Deborah Hill, and she wanted to ask what it would cost to make two masks, or three masks, actually. They wanted a skull mask, a witch, and a pumpkin mask. And she was asking how much it would cost. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll just do them for free. And then you could use them in the movie, but I have the rights to the masks. So that was acceptable. Every time they can save money, they're going to do it. And then we talked further, and she was talking about one of the sets they were going to build was a factory to produce masks. And I said, well, I have a factory to produce masks. You could film here. Well, we don't have a lot of money. And I said, I'm not looking for money. I just think it would be interesting if you use the studio to film masks. And of course, I thought it would be neat to have Donpo Studios appear in the movie. So they did a lot of interior shooting in there, especially our spray booths. And they also used the part of the factory that did the latex casting, which is all done by hand. I think they probably were thinking they were going to build a factory that would look like everything was just mechanical and produced that way. But they thought, they're going to save a lot of money. So they filmed a lot of interior shots. They also filmed in the warehouse. Interestingly, they used a building in Santa Maria to do the exterior. So everybody who saw the movie thought that Donpo Studios must be immense by the size of the exterior of the building that they saw, but that was a different building, and that building was in Santa Maria. And I think the reason they wanted to use a building in Santa Maria is because that was where Body Snatchers was supposed to take place, that movie, the original, which Donpo Studios made the pods, and a lot of the bodies that were used in that movie were made at Donpo Studios. And so, it all kind of tied in. So they filmed in there. And for me, it was a lot of fun. With this Silver Shamrock theme, they wanted to have a bunch of redheads working in the factory to make it look like they were some kind of leprechauns, not leprechauns, but that they were Irish. So it was a great experience to have them in there and work with them. And in one of the shots, we actually had somebody walk through with the Michael Myers mask on. So there was a piece of film that did have Michael Myers shot in that, although it didn't appear in the film. Today, at the time that movie was made, people were very disappointed that Michael Myers wasn't in the Halloween movie. And so the movie kind of initially, it flopped. But today, it's respected for what it is. And there's a lot of fans of that movie and of those masks. And a lot of people have made those masks on their own and ripped them off. But that's what happened. Now, another thing that I do want to share is that the skull mask was sculpted around 1965-66 by Pat Newman, and the other two masks, the pumpkin and the witch, were sculpted by Jim Leonard, who was working at Donpo Studios at the time. He's still a friend of mine, and I just want to give a shout out to him for what he contributed to that project.
Disappointed the video's over? Well, I bear good news for you, because there are more videos from this interview on their way out. So, keep an eye out for my channel and, maybe subscribe if you want to see more awesome Don Post interviews. Until we meet again, God bless.